The clock is ticking on Keir Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party. It's not a matter of whether his time is up, it's a matter of when. The recent string of scandals plaguing his political career doesn't just hint at incompetence, it signals the unraveling of a carefully constructed image that once promised a refreshed Labour. Now, that image is falling apart, exposed for all to see. And no one, least of all Starmer himself, can deny the damning truth any longer. His party is rooted in hypocrisy, elitism, and incompetence. It's time for the public to wake up and demand better. Starmer's attempts to distance himself from Labour's toxic legacy, especially Jeremy Corbyn's disastrous tenure, were meant to be his redeeming quality. But this farce is collapsing as quickly as his credibility. The latest scandal, a leaked WhatsApp group chat involving Labour MPs, is a glaring example of what lies beneath the polished surface. These MPs, who are supposed to represent the people, have been exposed as nothing more than arrogant elitists mocking vulnerable groups. This isn't just poor judgment, it's evidence of a deeper, systemic issue within Labour. Andrew Gwynn's cruel joke about an elderly woman potentially being run over by a heavy goods vehicle is enough to make any decent person cringe. Labour's supposed commitment to inclusivity is exposed as nothing but hollow rhetoric. And this is just the beginning. What's even worse is how Starmer has failed to show leadership in the face of this scandal. His reluctance to address these issues head-on, his attempts to bury them with vague statements and deflections, only underscores his ineptitude. The public isn't stupid. They can see through this. The reality is that the same culture of disrespect, elitism, and condescension that plagued Labour under Corbyn still festers under Starmer. The party's claim to be the voice of the people is a lie, and the public is starting to catch on. If the WhatsApp scandal wasn't enough to send shockwaves through Labour, then the ongoing backlash from rural communities should be the final nail in Starmer's political coffin. Farmers in the UK have been vocal in their opposition to Labour's proposal to scrap agricultural property relief and business property relief for estates worth over £1 million. This move, which could saddle farming families with crippling 20% tax bills, is a direct assault on rural Britain. But instead of addressing the concerns of the farming community with any sense of urgency or empathy, Starmer has gone into hiding. Cancelling public appearances and offering no concrete response is nothing short of cowardice. This is a man who lacks the spine to stand up for the people he claims to represent. The anger from rural communities is palpable. Farmers have taken to blocking roads and storming Parliament in protest, yet Starmer remains silent. What is the point of leading a party if you can't even engage with the core issues that matter to your constituents? It's clear that under Starmer, Labour has abandoned the very people who have long supported them. But it's not just farmers who are abandoning Labour. The party is losing its grip on wealthy voters as well. Labour's economic policies, especially under Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves, are pushing high-net-worth individuals to consider leaving the UK altogether. A proposed increase in national insurance contributions, coupled with a 20% VAT on private school fees, is alienating a crucial base of financial supporters. This isn't just a small faction of the wealthy, this is a demographic that has historically provided the party with significant financial backing. Their departure could spell disaster for Labour's ability to fund its campaigns in the run-up to the next election. Starmer's leadership is not just under fire, it's burning to the ground. Labour's economic policies are also wreaking havoc on ordinary working people. With the UK economy stagnating and forecasts looking grim, the public is looking to Labour for a credible plan. Instead, what they get is more tax hikes and vague promises that offer no tangible relief. Labour's inability to present itself as a competent alternative to the Tories is becoming all too apparent. The party is adrift, lost in a sea of contradictions and poor decisions. But perhaps the most troubling aspect of Starmer's leadership is his foreign policy. His handling of international relations, particularly with China, has raised more than a few eyebrows. A recent meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has led many to question Starmer's stance on the global stage. Is he really prepared to stand up to regimes that pose a threat to Western values, or is he more interested in playing diplomatic games to secure his own political survival? The lack of clarity here is deeply concerning. With global tensions rising, the UK needs a leader who can stand firm on the world stage, not someone who is unsure of where they stand. Starmer's leadership is a disaster on every front. His inability to address internal scandals, his failure to connect with rural communities, his alienation of wealthy voters, and his lack of a coherent economic strategy all point to one inevitable conclusion: Labour is in trouble. The public deserves better than this. The UK deserves better than this. Keir Starmer's time is running out, and it's time for a change.